I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it. Look! I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lambs, hogs, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes,
chicken, turkeys, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs.
Sorry, go ahead. I could listen to that all day long.
What
I
a
thought she
nice
was
surprise.
saying yams, but apparently she was saying rams. She has
Yeah.
rams to make more lambs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beans, greens, potatoes, beans,
Is it
greens,
ram?
potatoes, tomatoes, rams, hams, dogs, hogs.
No, lambs, rams.
Oh, it's lambs. Okay, see, I'm all mixed up. Anyways,
wow.
welcome to Bot Noir Radio.
Welcome to What Noir Radio. As you guys know, again, thank you so much for coming back and watching us, of course. And we have awesome. I was gonna say Halloween. Oh my God, no, it's Thanksgiving. An awesome Thanksgiving special. But look, I hope you're eating a ton. I hope you are having a good night. And Beefy,
Yes, sir. Are you gonna welcome on our guest? We got Brad's lads up in here
no,
and
hold on. Of
friends
course,
of the
they're not
show.
fine. They could totally see they're there. No, but I said Beefy. I was going to be like, look, if they don't keep an open mind, then they can just.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it's Thanksgiving. All are welcome. We turn
Okay.
no one away this week. At BYOB, bring your hate, bring your wives, bring your
Bring
smiles,
your
beans,
hate.
greens, potatoes, tomatoes. We'll dodge them all, baby.
We'll dodge them all. Bring your hate. You're so funny. But
Yep.
I'm your host Alistair, and we have guests. You've met them before. So we have Brad from Brad's Lab, and we have Nawson from Nawson.
Nothing from nothing. Don't mind me. Sorry.
Hey, this is the thing with live shows. You get what you get, okay? So that's why we say keep an open mind or deal with it. All right. I need to shave.
Technical issues are like the
shave.
unofficial fifth guest this week. It's just technical issues. You look great, my friend. I'm loving the manly stubble, sexy stubble, as they call it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little secret. I'm sure you men know that, but it itches at the beginning, and then depending on what you eat, sometimes it smells. Okay, so so I need to get it out of my face. I just haven't had time to sit down and simmer and do some proper hygiene. So you get what you get. 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 You get what you get.
And Nawson, how has your week been?
Yeah, not terrible. It's pissing down rain here, so at least it's not snowing yet.
Nawson, how about
It's good. It's getting cold.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I had
freezing.
something interesting happen to me today.
Oh, do talk.
Do you guys know who Deakiwe is? The guy who the viral clips who goes, "Gonna put that Deakiwe." Nawson knows.
Wait, who is that? No, I don't know who that is.
It's just a terrible chef on YouTube who cooks everything quote unquote Deakiwe. So he'll just basically somebody will come up to the counter. He runs a deli in New York, and they'll say, "Hey, give me a fucking pancake sandwich, Deakiwe," and he'll make it with like mozzarella sticks and like confetti in the pancake, just like crazy stuff. It's trash content. Trash.
So
content.
it's not. Oh, but it's not edible.
It is edible, barely, just on the line of edible.
You're talking about America here.
I was gonna say it's so foreign of me. I'm like taking it so literal. Confetti. Oh, how did that taste? It's so funny.
But at any rate, he is a figurehead, a tent pole of the beefy live streams that we always throw up an Akiwe clip and like to make fun of it because it's just trash food. It's Americanism at its stellarest forms. And I got claimed by the Akiwe himself. I feel so blessed. I feel as if Akiwe is now, flowing through my veins. I have been, cordoned by the man himself, knighted in Akiweisms. I am now a master in Akiwe Fu. I think it's truly a gift.
The
Next,
vocabulary, I love
you
it.
need to be officially smashed between two Jamaican-style beef patties.
Yes, yeah, toss
Oh,
into
this
the
is so
fryer.
good.
Yeah.
With spicy. Any of you drinking today? Any of you three?
I got water.
I've got water.
No.
I'm drinking
Good for
Oh,
you.
what are you drinking?
Molson Ice.
Nice.
What?
It's actually it's Canadian beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at
I
Brad
didn't know what I
living in Canada, shaking his head no.
I don't know. I haven't heard of it, but I've only been here for 2 years, so not full Canadian yet, eh?
Well, resident Canadian, how was your Thanksgiving? You've already had it.
Yeah, it was good. They do it on a Monday here, which is the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it gives you and you don't get the next day off. So most
So
people end up.
there's no Canadian Black Tuesday specials where everyone's trouncing over each other to get $5 off a PS5.
They do Black Friday up here.
That
oh,
makes
of
sense.
course they would.
Yeah.
Mhm. Of course,
it's
that they won't miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like everything is advertising, come to Black Friday, and we're like, people are working.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, but it was good. It was good. It's just the three of us, but only two of us can eat right now. So
Yeah.
she made plenty of food, and I think I put on at least a couple pounds.
Please. That's
As
not enough.
will we all. Yeah, we will all put on some
Tens of
Thanksgiving
pounds.
weight.
Please.
Myself
None of you
included.
better watch your figure. Go all the way. Deal with the consequences next week, okay? What is yeah, no, go.
The
Go
New
all
Year's
the
is
way.
coming.
Yeah, and then you have Christmas and New Year's. Look, but this time when Thanksgiving happened, I tell everybody, just forget it.
Just give up. Just give up. Yeah.
Give up.
It's a lost
Like
cause.
February, that's right. I said, just enjoy it. Drink all you want. Eat all the bread you want. Deal with it later. What? We only live once. We only live once. Nope.
Well, it is a wonderful time. We're all excited here. We can all smell the turkey and stuffing in the air. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's the best. It's just, you eat. That's it. It's all you do. It's so simple. It could not be more simple. Let's just all get together and we're going to eat. Sound good? Sounds good to me, right?
Hey, by the way, I love that picture. Look at that.
Eat and fight with our relatives, right?
Oh, yeah. Don't forget, fight with the relatives. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, I'm very glad that you bring that up now, son, because the crux of which family dynamics will become a very, very pivotal talking point in today's case as we dive into the Thanksgiving Day murders and the Merhige family, which on 2009, Paul Merhige came in and he shot several of his family members in the face.
Oh.
However, there are plenty of crimes to have taken place on Thanksgiving Day. There is the Thanksgiving Day disaster where a glass roof collapsed on a college football game in 1990. There's Omaima Nelson, who castrated and ate her husband for Thanksgiving dinner. And then there is, of course, yeah, she castrated and ate the part which you think she ate. Yeah.
I think you can see penis here on
Did
YouTube,
she
couldn't
weenie
you?
roast it or did she grill it?
That's
Weenie
a
roast?
good question. Yeah, I think it was a spit roast. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's something else. I'm thinking of something. Never mind.
Get one of those 7-Eleven hot dog rollers.
Oh, love it. The joke
Yes.
to continue. A hot dog roller. Mm.
Culinary humor. I love
She
it.
doesn't even look mad about it. She's like, yeah, I ate it. And what?
Yeah. Reminds me of the girl who bit off the guy's ween, and then he ended up getting sewn back on, and then did porn later. I forget that guy's name. Bobbitt. Her name's Bobbitt. I think it's Jennifer Bobbitt. But yes, and then there's also Paul Merhige, who again on Thanksgiving gunned down 4 of his own family members during Thanksgiving dinner. And what makes Paul Merhige, this case, so interesting, for me at least, is something that we all deal with during not just Thanksgiving, but holidays in general, and it's what Nawson just alluded to. It's family dynamics. For most, Thanksgiving is simply an opportunity to just, as I said, get together, eat a meal, right? It could not be more simple on its face. But for
Right.
others, like the marriage family, for example, family gatherings prove to be a little more complex, a little more challenging. Maybe some families have that one guest, a crazy aunt, a right-wing uncle who decides after drinking one too many beers at the family gathering that, now's the best time to hop on a soapbox and talk about his grievances regarding COVID restrictions or vaccines. Yeah. Do any of you guys have one of those coming to?
Please,
coming
we
to
all
Thanksgiving?
do. Who doesn't at this point? Who doesn't
It's
have any one of
me.
those?
Yeah, actually, at Nawson's table, it's Nawson.
Oh,
Can confirm.
It's Nawson?
Been there
Oh, you're
before.
the one? Oh, God. Oh, my God.
That's why we moved out of the country.
Mm.
You don't have to worry about it then.
And you can stay out. Yeah, we're having
We plan-
Thanksgiving right now.
Yeah,
we're getting a
yay,
taste of it,
fight,
yeah.
fight, yay. Love it.
Well, very much like Nawson's Thanksgiving family dinner, it was very much the environment of the marriages. They had that one person that it's almost like watching a ticking time bomb, just wondering when it's about to explode.
Oh my God.
And the ticking time bomb was very much the environment for the Sittons. Jim and his wife Muriel, who are pictured here, who worked at local NBC affiliate WPTV, and in 2009 had just recently bought a home in the upscale neighborhood in Jupiter, Florida called the Paseos.
Oh.
And in celebration of purchasing this new home, would be hosting the annual Thanksgiving gathering of up to 16 different family members, including the marriages, which consisted of Father Michael and Carol there on the Carol on the left, and then twin sisters, also daughters of Michael and Carol, Lisa and Carla. Now, this might get a little confusing, giving all of the players. So in an effort just to explain who the important people are and how they relate to each other, we're going to go over how this table actually landed itself out. So we have Jim. Again, he's hosting Thanksgiving, sitting at the head very titularly, and his wife, Muriel, at the other head of the table.
Okay.
We have Michael and Carol, who, again, blood relative Carol to Muriel, are sitting at the eastern side towards the windows, and then up next to them is their son, Paul. Across from the marriages are their twin daughters, Carla and Lisa, and next to them are their other aunt, Raymond, and her husband, Patrick, and then sleeping in the other room is the Sitton's daughter, Michaela. So these are the players we need to know. Really the only ones you need to remember. Again, there are up to 16 different people here, but for today's purposes, these are the people that we'll be talking about.
Okay.
So there we are, at Thanksgiving dinner. It looks just jovial. You can almost picture the scene. Jim is cutting the turkey. Muriel is filling people's wine. People are, passing around stuffing and mashed potatoes. Yeah, just, hooting and hollering. The food was described as, quote, a feast set for kings with all the standard American Thanksgiving fixins. Oh, you can smell it, right? Like people are mingling. There's stuffing. There's mashed potatoes.
There's dancing if you're in my household. Yeah, we're dancing.
Dancing. And I'm curious, what does you guys' Thanksgiving table like? And before we dive into that, we're gonna play everyone's newest favorite game.
It's our favorite. It's our favorite 5.
So I want to know what all of you guys' favorite Thanksgiving dishes are.
God.
Was that your? Did I just hear that? I'm not. Okay, maybe not.
That was my stomach. I am very sorry about that.
Oh, was
that's
it?
all right, man. Yeah, I'm gonna give you props that it was audible. On
Very sensitive mic, Brad.
Yeah.
It helps that it's near my stomach. But yeah, no, I haven't eaten dinner yet, and now we're talking about food, so
yeah,
Ooh.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with you, Brad. What's your number one Thanksgiving dish?
So it would be Megan, my wife, her mac and cheese. She makes it with like 4 or 5 different cheeses, and it'll lock you up for a week. But
yeah, that sounds like Comatose City, especially you mixing some turkey in there. I'm needing a nap. Alistair, number one.
Okay, so just a quick disclaimer. we don't celebrate Thanksgiving where I come from. So the Thanksgiving I've been to, I never really eaten a traditional Thanksgiving meal
Oh,
besides,
this
of
is
course,
gonna
the
be a
turkey.
weird fucking list.
No. So I'll start with the first one just so I can conform. So we'll go with turkey.
It's
How's that?
croissant. Can we get some wine? What are some other French
Actually,
food? Can I
to be
get
very
some French
no, not even
fries?
French.
Some French
No, not
toast?
French fries. No, it's like rolled up chicken. It's like rotellini. My mother-in-law cooks that. We
That's
spend
your.
Thanksgiving in
I
the
don't even know how
Italian.
to. I don't even know how to spell that. I'm gonna give it my. There you go.
Sure.
Rotellini.
So it's cooked. Well, for Thanksgiving, she uses turkey, and she rolls it up in cheese. It's delicious. You have no idea what you're missing. And she wraps it up in
Nawson.
spaghetti.
Sounds good. Nawson, number one.
The turkey.
Oh wow. It's still playing though. Okay, yeah, interesting.
Oh, awesome. Turkey.
Going stuffing, middle meat, baby. I love it. It's the best. You ever put oysters in there? Oh, it's so good. It's going to smash down some stuffing right now. I'm starving.
Being from Kansas, we don't have access to oysters, so that sounds absolutely disgusting to me.
They ship oysters to Kansas. Get the fuck. And number two.
Oh, dude, they cost you a fortune.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But my number two.
Okay, so
is
Brad's
actually,
number two, oysters. Okay, got it.
It's green bean casserole.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Go fucking figure. Who likes that?
That's
Green bean
on my top
casserole.
5 too. I like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you
Wow.
gotta have it.
That's usually the dish that gets thrown away. It's like the aunt brings the green bean casserole and it gets tossed. Alistair, number two.
Okay, lasagna. Oh, I know. Italian.
This is a strange list.
It's a
But
strange Thanksgiving, but that's
hold
the
on.
menu. That's
I've
the menu for
heard that's
Thursday.
normal for Italian families to have lasagna on Thanksgiving.
Yep, lasagna.
Alistair, did you just say you're Italian? So you're French,
No.
you're Canadian, you're Italian?
No.
What aren't you?
I am married to an Italian. For Thanksgiving, we spend Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, so please, all they eat is Italian food all day, every day. That's all they eat. So it's literally that's the menu for Thanksgiving on Thursday, right here. What I just told you, rotellini, lasagna. Yeah, that's what my mother-in-law is bringing.
Now, son, number two.
Stuffing.
Let's see, we're somewhere. I like the cranberries. My number two is cranberry sauce. Just right out of the can too. You can't yeah, oh yeah. It makes it. You get that ice cold cranberry sauce with like the hot turkey and the hot stuffing. And I can't stand people that actually have like fancy cranberry sauce. Like, it just needs to be out of the can, ice cold. That's the best.
It's cold.
So you prefer the trappings to the main ingredient?
Yeah, oh yeah. For me, it's
Like
all about the fixins.
Like when someone
really?
serves you a ham, you're like, pass me the pineapple.
I definitely prefer and like not even like I want the ham with the pint, like ham on its face sounds kind of boring to me. Anyways, Alistair, number three.
So let's go with the dessert, the pies. Oh my god, the pies are delicious, right?
Yep.
I can't wait for the pie.
Now, son, number three.
Sorry, gravy.
Oh,
All right.
I'm gonna catch some heat for this one, but I don't care. I like the yams. Why do everybody hate on yams?
Now, is it yams with marshmallows mixed in? And
Yeah.
all that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And the
oh,
brown
yeah.
sugar. Yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
dessert. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
barf. I can't stand
No.
that.
I don't get why
no.
they get so much hate.
I can't
In the
stand
comments too, let us know what your guys'
that.
favorite
Your top 5 dishes.
Yeah, we want to know in the comments, and we'll read them aloud. We want to know from you, people in the comments, live or replay crew. Brad, number three.
You know what? I didn't think about the yams, but now that you mentioned it, yeah, no, that would be number three.
Oh, we got a midstream alteration going on for Brad's list. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, are you ready for number 4, Beefy?
I am.
All right, you could throw tomatoes. I eat them all. No, I'm playing. Liquor. I am getting turned up for Thanksgiving. What?
Fair enough.
Liquor. What? The grown-ups are there.
Number 4.
Mashed
Yeah, I
potatoes.
remember. Yeah, mashed potatoes. That's a pretty solid choice right there. Yeah, it really is. I remember when I was a drinker, it was the booze that made Thanksgiving so fun. You watch football, argue with your family. It's the best.
Oh, football. Such a hetero.
My
But look.
number 4, mashed potatoes too. Look at that. Nelson,
Mm.
we have so much in common. It's so weird.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, Brad, it's zooming in. Brad, number 4. What do we got?
Rolls. Yeah, just
Uh-oh.
bread
I got a-
rolls.
I got a couple I can spare.
Yeah, no, they're perfect. You know, if you get fed up with somebody, you can chuck them at their head.
Yeah.
And
That's artillery. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so for my number 5, look, you could put the turkey there. If not, then the bread. And pretty much that's what I eat in Thanksgiving. The first thing I could do is lasagna, then rotellini. You have no idea how good those are. You have no idea.
The rotellini does sound pretty bomb.
You have no idea. And she wrapped it up in spaghetti, and then I drink all night, and people are complaining and fighting, and then I eat the bread, and I go home.
There
That's
you go,
literally
yeah.
my Thanksgiving.
Little Betty. Nasa, number 5. What you got?
Green bean casserole.
Oh. Mm.
Turkey's all the way down at the bottom of the list for me. It's still top 5 though. You gotta have it. Right there, that's like the perfect Thanksgiving sandwich for me. Right there, you get those 5 things in there. Yum 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 yum.
Yeah.
You guys ever get the Thanksgiving plate? You just mash it all together until like just mush. I do
So,
that.
yeah.
Leftovers.
I recommend making we call it the Thanksgiving quesadilla.
Yeah, we used to do that too with the turkey and stuff. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's bomb.com.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Oh, it's well worth it.
When I went to college, there was a burrito place called Burrito Me, and on Thanksgiving time, they used to make Thanksgiving burritos with like all the stuff in it. Oh God, I have to smash one of those right now. Brad, number 5.
It's the pie, pumpkin pie.
Oh,
specifically.
right.
Yeah.
Good choice. And there you have it. Our top 5 Thanksgiving entrees, dinners, whatever. Yeah, all of our foods. There you go. You have our list. So we've
my
set
God.
the table here. You can almost picture all of our all of our dinners put together. What does Alistair? Is this kind of what your fare looks like for Thanksgiving? It's mostly Italian food.
Yeah, that's actually I copy paste pretty much what my mother-in-law is going to make, because I asked her, so what are you bringing? And yeah, tortellini, lasagna, and then because it's a whole bunch of them. So they're also doing it's a bunch of bread. I'm telling you, there's bread. There's so much bread, pasta, lasagna. That's just my mother-in-law. It's like,
Look at this list. Just
Yeah.
Jonesy puts apple crisp as her number 1. That is a weird choice.
mocha lasagna. Look at that for dessert. What?
What is mocha lasagna? It's
I'm
like
assuming it's pasta rolled in chocolate.
interesting. I gotta say, I'm not really hating it. Christine gives us our list here. Sweet potato souffle. She's got like some gourmet shit going up on here. Yeah, cornbread dressing.
Whipping souffle. It's a souffle.
That's a good idea. Cornbread dressing.
Spooky Gnome says her friend had his jaw wired shut. Put all that shit in a blender? That doesn't sound too bad, actually. Of course, Charlotte's going off about her French food. Yeah, what's? Oh, so you could probably tell us, Alistair, what does Thanksgiving look like in France?
I don't remember. I know that the Thanksgiving tradition, we've started doing it when we moved here to the US, which I was before that. I don't remember a Thanksgiving thing. Charlotte, do we have Thanksgiving, so to speak? I don't think so. Like as the holiday of Thanksgiving. Oh, I don't remember if we did.
I mean, it's primarily a American holiday, so that makes sense.
I've heard that a lot of foods that we consider to be American foods are actually French. So I wouldn't be surprised if their Thanksgiving is about identical.
Yeah,
so she
right
here. Yeah, they don't have Thanksgiving in France.
Yeah, I don't remember. But one thing though that I have to say, and at least when I was growing up, is we don't eat a lot. Like you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but we don't snack a lot. At least from what I remember.
Oh wait, hold
So
on. I've heard this about France too. That when you eat, that when French people eat, they pick up their utensil, they take a bite, and then they set down their utensil, and then they sit there and they chew. Is that accurate?
I don't think so. But I know we're not because stores close very early. So it's not a thing like, oh, I'm gonna go to the store at 8 p.m. and get a snack. No, if you ain't got it in your house, you ain't getting nothing. So there's the concept of like having available food all the time. It's foreign to us, So you either get it ahead of time or you don't. But we don't snack. Like, after you eat, you're done. Breakfast done. There's no in between.
Yeah, but those meals also have like 9 courses. So like your meals basically are just like collections
No.
of little snacks.
No, they're not that big. No, I think even dinner is not huge.
That's not no. I know for a fact that at fancy French restaurants you get like 9-course meals and they all have a name.
But they don't have a name. But okay, the portions are probably very small, right?
Yeah, you're probably right. Anyways, getting back into our story here. So there is a facet to this contributing to what we talked about earlier regarding family dynamics.
Yeah.
You see, Paul actually wasn't invited to dinner. You see, Paul Merhige had over the past decade or so been suffering with severe mental disabilities, from chronic depression to obsessive compulsive disorder. He was actually legally diagnosed by the state. He was in such bad shape. However, this wasn't. Yeah, so he was legally declared handicapped. His mental capacities had gone down to. He was not physically able to take care of himself. This wasn't always the case, however. As a child, Paul went to private school and was considered a star athlete in multiple sports. Even going back as far as 11 years old, Paul was one of 16 kids to fly to Japan for the Little League World Series. He played soccer and football in senior year of high school and was a top prospect for universities around the country. He was a good student, a good athlete, a good son, and a good brother. By all accounts, Paul was the shining star of the Merhige family. Graduating from, he really was. But you guys know that he's kind of our attacker here in all of this. So you guys must be asking yourself, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
So he comes out of Gulliver Prep with a 5.16 grade point average on his way to prep school for medical college. He ends up getting accepted into Miami University. In his high school yearbook, he would take out a full page thanking his parents, quote, for the values and morals they passed down to him. Regarding Paul's twin sisters, in the same yearbook passage, Paul would write, quote, I have been so lucky to have been blessed with twin sisters and being your protective older brother. We may fight a lot, but that is because we love each other so much and would not trade it for the world. Continuing on, he would thank his grandparents and his other 32 extended family members. Paul was, by all means, considered the Goldie boy of the Merhige family and was well-liked and loved by everyone he came in contact with. However, in his first year of college at Miami University, things would start to take a nosedive here. Noting severe bouts of depression and obsessive-compulsive disorder, with the situation getting so bad, his family would note him switching between sulking in bed and obsessively showering and shaving over and over again. It should be noted, this is actually pretty typical for people who suffer with mental health disease. Obsessive-compulsive disorder in particular tends to, around this age, like 19, 20s, early 20s, it'll just like almost overnight. Like you'll have somebody who is just completely normal and then like almost... Flip. Yeah, like a switch will flip and all of a sudden they're like a completely different person. Have any of you guys ever known anybody to just like that, like in an instant almost?
Yeah. But a quick question: was there a history of abuse once he got to college? Was he physically abused?
Nope. I wondered the same thing, almost if there was like frontal lobe damage, because you hear about that so frequently. Maybe he was playing football, but no, it was literally just he was doing great, and then at some point during that first year at University of Miami, he just had a mental breakdown.
Right. Also, Spooky Known says she has it, but also, when you come from a family that has such stability and like, oh my God, everybody's great, and then you go to school where nobody gives a crap, and it's an adjustment. Maybe he just couldn't handle the fact that, in college.
So it actually, the mental breakdown when it like really started to come into play didn't happen until the back half of the second semester. So he actually kind of settled in more or less to, college life. He was noted as having good grades and performing well on the football team during that first year as well. So again, there's really no good explanation as to why this happens to Paul. It just kind of does. He just, like I said, in one moment he's this golden boy who's this top prospect and going to be a doctor, and then in the next he's can't take care of himself. It's
Did he get a football injury? Do you think?
No. Like I said, that was what my first suspicion too, was that possibly he suffered some sort of brain damage, or you hear constantly about the NFL and their wellness program and how concussions are such a big factor. But no, by all accounts, he got through the football season fine, and just there's no good explanation for it. From all the sources I could find, there was really no good explanation to explain as to why Paul all of a sudden flipped the switch the way he did. It's just one day he woke up fine, the next he couldn't stop showering and shaving, was obsessive. Yeah, sad.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Or maybe there's just maybe sexual assault that we don't know of that happened.
It's possible.
That is just like Katie says, like there's usually a gradual thing. That's a little bit suspect. Speaking of the shower and the OCD, which is indicative of someone violating you physically,
So I can say, like I said, for obsessive compulsive disorder in particular, it's pretty common for this to happen at this age range. I mean, can you think back to can you guys think back to like your early 20s? I know it was for me probably the most I struggled with like mental health, whether it was anxiety or not knowing who I was or what I was doing with my life. I probably struggled the most in my early 20s.
Yeah. You know what,
okay,
Nawson?
That's me. I'll go fuck myself.
No, Nawson, I want to hear from you. Nawson.
Maybe he was like failing out, and he was hiding.
No, he had like I said in the first. So they got his grades from the first half of the semester, and he was on track with his prep school grades. It wasn't exactly the 5.16, but he was, by all accounts, I don't know the exact grades he got, but high grades. A's and B's probably.
You Brad, what do you think?
I think the first sign that something was wrong is he actually paid for a full page ad in his yearbook.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
who does that? What a weirdo.
Wow, Brad. Yeah, look, we're all fired. Brad, you're hired. Yeah, forget everything we just said. That's the trigger.
We need a bit when we start throwing shade, dude. Oh, Lucy trying to here.
True. What? He paid for that. That's right.
Lucy says, yes, Beefy, it's common for young adults to have mental issues at this age, especially going away to school. And Katie did too, says, I was clinically depressed my entire 20s. Spooky Gnome says, very nervous all the time, things in place and done. Oh, she's talking about her experience with this. So I'd be interested because that's the main component to this is his obsessive compulsive disorder. And I know it can, what's the word, metabolize or metastasize or whatever in a lot of weird ways. Like people end up doing very odd things. It's not just like you see on TV of just like, counting the door when you shut it or counting tiles. It can actually manifest is the word I was looking for. It can manifest itself in really odd behaviors that don't look like we see on TV. I'm curious if you're comfortable talking about it, Spooky Gnome.
Let us know
what it looks like for you.
Another thing also is one last point before we move on, if anybody else wants to add, but when you are a certain kind of way, and then when you get into an environment where everybody expect you to be a different sort of way, then that can be very depressive because that's just not who you are, right? So it's kind of like just like an introvert being put in the spot to act like an extrovert when people expect you to be extroverted, and then you're like, oh well, that's not me, right? So at that age, like Lucy said, it's conflicting and it can create some in the psyche.
That's a good point, Alistair. And I think there is a facet to this. It's important that you bring this up, that there was a lot of pressure on Paul being this golden boy for the marriage family. And he's got these twin sisters below him that are just, they're a little bit younger, but not much. So they're probably making their way up in high school. And there had to have been insurmountable pressure on him to succeed so much so that it very well could have been the cause for this mental breakdown. I hear medical prep school in particular is very, very difficult. And it turns away a lot of people. Like a lot of people go into it thinking I have what it takes to become a doctor and find out, unfortunately, the hard way that they do not. And so for all we know, maybe that was a contributing factor to this. But I can't I can't speak just as much as we all struggle at Thanksgiving time with family dynamics. It very much could have been a facet to Paul's mental breakdown here, but that's where we'll continue the story of him being in college and struggling this way.
Mm-hmm.
We know, it, like as we said, it kind of happened overnight, and he would go from this magna cum laude of the honor society to basically he can't get out of bed or even function as a healthy member of society. By everyone who came in contact with Paul during this time said he wasn't capable of maintaining even his own basic needs such as clothing and feeding himself, forcing the burden of supporting him both physically and financially onto his parents. Paul would eventually drop out of college and move back home with his parents, and this is where things in the family really begin to get tense. With the years going by relatively unchanged, Paul would find himself, his hair falling out, he's getting fat, he's not getting out of bed, and at the same time, his sisters are making a come up. You know, they're going to work, they're getting jobs, they're going to school, they're doing all the things that Paul
was living their lives. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Just doing what every other person on the planet would be. But to Paul, he's extraordinarily jealous because he was supposed to be the golden boy, and it's instilling this very primitive feeling of bitterness and jealousy from Paul. He sees his sisters there every day. And he's living in the same home because they're going to college, and he's developing a sense of hatred. You know, it's not even just so much of just like friendly sibling competition at this point. He despises them for the life that he feels basically he was cheated from, even though they didn't do this, just for living their lives.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine how shitty it must be to live with this guy?
Yeah, but you know, also if we put ourselves in his shoes, you can kind of understand a little bit why he is lashing out. Because maybe as his body is changing internally, he realizes it, but he can't control the outcome externally. So the frustration must be unsurmountable. And you know, in the family, if your sister does well, it's like, "Mommy, look, I got an A and I got a job. I'm Jeff Bezos," right? You want to share that news with all your family members, and you have him over there in the corner, like, "Oh, well, what do I have? I'm sitting here with mom and dad doing nothing." Exactly. So it's not even the fault of the girls from flaunting their success because they want to share their happiness with their family, and it's not his fault for feeling very deprived. You know, sibling rivalry is a hidden thing here in the back, and it's not. You can't even fault the parents for not being like, "It's okay, my boy," because they're also human and probably frustrated. Like, "Oh my god, what? Get up, Johnny, get up!" Like, you know, so it's a ball of mess. It's a complete mess.
I know it can be really hard for somebody that doesn't understand the struggles of depression and mental health from an outside perspective to really just like I've had it myself where it's like I'm struggling and people are shoving you like, "Get out of bed, like I don't care, like move on with your life," and it's like I can't. I don't know why.
I can't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's make it
Spooky Little Gnome chimes in here talking about her experience with obsessive compulsive disorder. She says, "I was always yelled at growing up if things weren't just so. So I always felt and still feel like I have to be busy and can't be seen relaxing. There's always something that needs to be done. I started always making things neat, straightened, cleaned, etc. Then I got to where I double check things constantly and imagine the worst outcomes for forgetting. Like, did I lock my doors? Oh my God, someone will break down and kill us. Didn't leave that thing running. Oh my God, the house will burn down and my dog is home and could die in the fire." Yeah, I can relate with that feeling. Like, did I leave the coffee pot on? You got to drive all the way back to it's like you feel fucking stupid. So what am I doing?
Yeah. You know, Beefy, I think you know that, and Brad and Nawson, I haven't been officially diagnosed, but when I was younger, I was younger. This is before the science was really advanced. I was given with ADD, but that's when I came to the US. But before the US, I was considered a troubled child because I never shut up. I always talked over my teachers. And
you changed so much.
Oh, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I was considered a troubled child because I spoke in gnomes. Things were not the way that I expected. And also I have a little bit of ECD thing, like sifting, speaking like, "Oh, did I close this?" And I remember my mom was at one point, all the teachers were like, "Oh my God, your son is very smart, but XYZ. And it got to a point where my mom gave a try to do a medication. And when I took the medication, it changed me completely. And she was like, I don't know who that is. And so she said, you know what, my boy, you figure it out. This is who you were made. You figure the F out. And it was very difficult because from a 16-year-old to trying to figure myself out through college and a young adult in this world where people expect you to be like, good evening, hello, darling, hi, right? Like how do I fit into this mess? And it was very, very, very hard. And so depression, people don't understand how to deal with it, but it's because the societal standards that may not conform to who you are as a person. Maybe you need to do cartwheels and backflips once a day before you're normal. And that should be okay. Maybe I need a swing in the office because Alistair needs a swing in the office. You know what I mean? So it's this. Anyway.
Yeah, so KD2 brings up a good point here that lack of understanding of illness is rampant. I have to say it's getting a lot better. Like you saw at the Olympics this year when Simone Biles was just like, hey, I don't feel mentally competent to compete. And people were just like, that's cool and really supportive about it. Where just, even 10 years ago, she would have been, laughed off, laughed off the stage. So I think I come across now more as me being neurotic because I do stupid shit like dry the sink out when I'm done. Yeah, I mean, I think all of us to some extent can relate to, whether as severe diagnosed OCD like Paul or Speak to Little Gnome, or even just like Alistair saying, just feeling down. What about you, Brad? Have you ever had any experiences with mental health?
So actually, I, without getting too much into it, I've got complex PTSD.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, what is that? I don't know what that is. Get into it. What is that?
PTSD is.
I know what it is, but what's complex PTSD?
So the difference is where PTSD, you only have maybe one or two traumatic events.
Oh.
Complex PTSD is classified as 10 or more.
Oh, wow.
At the same time?
So just from
in general.
Sounds like you had a hard childhood, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh yeah, it was not great. Kansas City is not a place I'd raise my kid.
Yeah.
I witnessed my first murder when I was 11.
Whoa.
What? Did you know the person that was murdered?
No, luckily.
Okay.
That makes it a little bit better. But it was that was just one of
10
countless things. I was adopted when I was 13.
How are you nowadays? Do you find yourself able to manage it on a day-to-day basis, or do you still struggle?
Leaving the country has been the
best thing ever.
Yeah.
Because Brad, I caught that, by the way.
Yeah.
I cut what you threw. I don't know if people got it. I caught it. So you witnessed your first murder at 11 and you were adopted at 13. Wink, wink.
Oh, no. No. So
then I didn't get it. Okay.
No, you're good. It's one of those, it's hard to go into it without trauma dumping. And
you don't have to.
If you're not comfortable, we can move on. It's all good.
Well, no, it was my mother chose drugs and alcohol. So there wasn't food, random guys, ever since I could remember. Then when I was 13, I was forcefully adopted, and they don't do the checks that they should do. And then there was even more abuse from that. So it just,
I've heard that's actually really common that people adopt kids to just basically abuse them. I'll never understand it.
I honestly, with the amount of time and money that goes into it, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, like why would you invest so much time and money just to treat a kid like shit? There's a lot of evil people out there.
Yeah. So
you're very blessed, man. I've been fortunate enough to meet your family, and you're a very lucky man. So
honestly,
hey, can we all clap for Brad? Everybody at home, clap, please. Anybody's watching, please. Thank you for sharing that. Very brave, Brad.
It's been I'm actually in a textbook.
I see.
Because of the sheer amount of shit.
Yeah.
So that's my guest claim to fame. And it's, they didn't use my name because of patient confidentiality, but I just hope that
It helps someone else.
yeah, psychology students are actually able to help people learn from my experience. So
Interesting.
yeah. And years of therapy and leaving the country. I've lived in England, Ireland, now Canada, and every time I leave the United States, it's like this wave of relief.
You feel safer.
So, yeah. Much
Nice.
safer.
Yes, well, Spooky Little Gnome hits the nail on the head. You've turned out wonderful. You've got a beautiful family. Much to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, Brad. Congratulations to you. We are not our past, my friend.
I'm giving you the biggest non-homo hug. Yay!
I will take the biggest homo hug you give me.
Yeah,
if you want.
give me the big hug. Oh my
Same.
god!
Let's homo hug it up. All of us. We're all virtually homo hugging. I love it.
I love it.
All right. Well, just as we all struggle with our mental health struggles, Paul very much did the same. He would struggle, like I said, with gaining weight, losing his hair. He was not able to do daily tasks, such as taking his own medications. He couldn't sleep. He basically, in no uncertain terms, could not take care of himself. He needed 24/7 care. And during these years, he wasn't invited to the family gatherings. He is insulting and bickering with his sisters and parents. The atmosphere around Paul was getting very dark, with everyone around him really not too sure what to do. He would even threaten self-deletion several times throughout the years, even going as far as to grab his parents' gun, shoot himself, and then threaten this family, resulting in him being committed. This would actually happen several times over the next decade. He would get committed about 3 or 4 times, and it's painting a picture over and over and over of this guy just being completely unstable, and the family really not knowing how to deal with it. I mean, how do you deal with somebody just completely out of control like this? I mean, what would you do? Like try to support him, but you can't just like cast him out to the street, like.
Nawson, what would you do?
I'd tell him to get a job.
That's what I get. Okay.
Eventually, the situation would reach a boiling point, with him and his sisters resulting in a physical altercation, and his sisters would end up filing a restraining order against him, moving out of the family home. Eventually, Paul would be placed into his own apartment, and the restraining order would be dropped, with several maids hired to take care of and clean up after him, and even going as far as instructing him to take his medications. So basically, Paul was ousted from the family, and he's out there living in his own apartment. And this would be going on for several years as we're getting into Thanksgiving 2009, where he is not invited. Again, the Merhiges show up to the Sitton's house for Thanksgiving dinner, and they are adamant. The people who they're at their house, there are the Sittons. They don't ever really know Paul because he's never been to any of the gatherings. He's just like this black sheep off in his own apartment that all of these 32 family members kind of used to know. But over the 10 years, I've probably heard murmurings, like, how it is when you have extended family and you get the Christmas cards, you hear the gossip, you talk to your mom, and, oh my God, did you hear that Aunt blah, blah, blah's son just totally, grabbed a gun and shot him, or whatever, So that's the atmosphere that going into Thanksgiving we're in, is the entire family, he's not there, we don't know him, it's all good, he's somewhere else. So the Merhiges, Michael and Carol, along with their twin daughters, would be invited to Thanksgiving, with all the rest of the family hearing about these violent escapades, and they didn't want any part of it. Peculiar it would be that at the Sitton home, we're hosting Thanksgiving dinner, that Paul would call his father, and Michael would invite Paul to Thanksgiving dinner. And apparently nobody there wanted him to show up. In fact, it could be reported from several family members that one of the twin sisters turned to their mother and said, quote, "I hope he doesn't come here and kill all of us." Famous last words. And so the stage would be set, and Paul would arrive for Thanksgiving dinner. Thoughts thus far, gentlemen?
Look, go ahead, Brad.
I was just gonna say that, it's a hard thing when somebody puts their mind to it. If they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it.
That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very little you can do. If someone wants you DEAD, it's just a matter of time.
Yep.
Oh, Sadie's late. Hi, Sadie. Welcome in.
Hello, Sadie. Hello, Sadie.
Nawson, thoughts about our story so far?
I would say be careful not to serve green bean casserole. That's a big gamble.
Yeah.
If he doesn't like that,
Oh,
it's gonna go south real quick.
Taking everybody out. Fuck these
Wow.
damn green beans.
I mean, I guess if there wasn't the crunchy onions on top of it, then
I would get pretty angry myself too, to be honest. I mean, I don't know how far I'd take it, but I'd be pretty pissed at the
That's
crunchy
part.
onions.
It's like serving the turkey without the skin or something.
Yeah. Diabolical. It's like serving it the Aki way. We're gonna get claimed up in here. The Aki way.
with confetti.
Funny. I know
and
you're
glitter.
talking about too with those little French's onions that they get in the oven, they just crisp all perfectly. Oh, I love it.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at. Entrees are making their way around the table. Families all gathered right as we said. Muriel's filling people's glasses. Jim over there at the head of the table, he's carving the turkey. And during the meal, as entrees were making their way around the table, Paul would excuse himself for a moment, leaving the table abruptly to the chagrin of many attending. He was notably absent for a period of about 20 minutes. What exactly he's doing this time is a mystery. However, when Paul returns, he enters through the back door, brandishing a handgun, and without a word, he opened fire, immediately executing his twin sisters with 2 shots to their heads consecutively. Paul then made his way down the line of the dinner table, shooting his Aunt Raymond once in the shoulder and then once in the sternum, killing her instantly. Lisa's husband, Patrick, would bend down and attempt to stop the bleeding, and it's at this point Paul takes aim at Patrick, shooting him once in the stomach, and then moving aim towards his cousin Clifford Antoine, who had begun CPR and is now deceased Aunt Raymond. Paul would aim the gun right at Clifford's head, and as he closed his eyes, he was barely able to mutter to the gunman, "Ne fais pas ça." Alistair, I turn to you for translation. What did our friend Clifford Antoine say?
Wait,
Ne
say it
fais
again?
pas ça. Ne fais pas ça.
Oh, don't do that. Ne fais pas ça. Don't do that.
This. That's what he says.
Yeah, don't do this.
So just as Paul draws his gun towards Clifford's head, he mutters in French, "Don't do this." And he clicks the gun twice with the gun jamming. And it's at this point that Paul slowly and calculatedly exits the back room. But before he would leave, he would stop by Michaela's bedroom and fire 3 shots into her as she slept. It was reported that Jim, who was outside, could hear the shots being fired in his daughter's bedroom and keeled over in a heap of depression.
Wow.
Yeah. Had to hit the daughter on the way out. Fucked up.
Wow.
Paul slowly lumbered out of the little girl's room, turning around and pumping 2 more shots into her, making his way down the hall towards the front door. With some 12 remaining family members cowering and trembling in fear, Paul could be heard saying, quote, "I've been waiting 20 years to do this," as he stoically walked out the front door, getting into his blue Toyota Camry and speeding off into the night. 6-year-old Michaela had reportedly written notes for every family member who attended the dinner, describing things she loved about each one, all except for Paul, her 35-year-old mentally ill cousin, who gunned her down in cold blood as she slept in her bed and likely had never met. I'll take a little break. Grim stuff.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You know, this is why I always say it takes one moment to ruin your life. And if you have any hint of anything, you always go with the caution. Don't even try to if, ands, or buts. I mean, that's how I look at it, because it takes one moment to change your life.
We can see why he wasn't invited. I mean, it was almost like the writing was on the wall, poor taste of words, but yeah.
And also, a lot of times your intuition is not useless. Your intuitions is there for a reason. Evolution give you intuition for a reason. So if you're like, sixth sense tells you, wait a minute, something's off, most likely it's off. So you're better off just not do it. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think they had it
I
right.
wonder what made his sisters so sure that he was going to kill them.
Probably the behavior.
Yeah, so there was actually a lot of evidence about that in the lead up to this case. I included some of it, but it was pretty much the writing was on the wall that he wanted to kill them, and he at several times tells his sister and his family that he wants to kill them. But the guy's also insane. Like how much shock do you put into what the guy is saying? I mean, that's very much what led up to him being removed from the family home and put off into his own apartment, and why he wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. But yeah, they knew that this guy was dangerous. In fact, Clifford, it's part of the script, so I may end up repeating myself here, but Clifford, who the gun jammed in front of his head, actually treated Paul as a licensed physician. And his opinion of Paul was that he was completely unstable, and that he was actually faking most of this. He was just like pretty much like an asshole. Like, according to their sessions, he had done research about his own diagnoses and would lean into these behaviors for sympathy from his family because he just basically felt ousted by them. Yeah. Grim stuff. Not really what you like to hear about around Thanksgiving time, but it unfortunately is the fare of What Noir Radio. We have to.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. The survivors will be forever tormented.
Yeah.
Forever tormented. Forget it. I wouldn't be surprised if later on something that, if they turn into hermits or PTSD to the level of like unseen of, because it's especially when it could have been prevented, and especially when people were like, I don't want to go, is he gonna kill us, as a joke, and then it happened for real. Like, the guilt must be out of this world.
So we'll get into some of the aftermath and what happened with the family. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but if it was Paul's goal to tear this family apart, he succeeded. But look at it this way, and we're going to get into some of the details of it. If basically half of your family was murdered by somebody who was an immediate, right? They're not part of your immediate circle. I don't know. There would be a lot of, I guess, blame. Like, how do you even come to terms with? It's tough. That's a tough thing. Again, it's the crux of what we all struggle with around the holidays: family dynamics. It's what we keep saying over and over again. And what makes this case interesting is not only leading up to the attacks, but also how they develop afterwards. It's family dynamics.
Can I share something with you guys? So, every once in a while, I do some self-reflection, and every once in a while, I put myself in scenarios like, what will happen if an alien shows up, right? I do. It always sounds silly, but sometimes in my head, I'm like, when I have long drives, I'm like, okay, Alistair, what would you do if someone comes in and just like gun your family down? Right. And then what would you do? Or like, what would you do if by mistake you get into a car accident and, you survive, but your daughter doesn't make it? Like, what would you do? And a scenario where all my Christopher and MP are gone because of something, and that did come to my head. And what would I do? And so I came up with the answer where I probably would be so dead inside that most likely, I'd be so depressed that I'd probably jump off the building. I mean, allegedly, but I don't know why I said that. But you know what I mean. I'm scared of the YouTuber, but most likely I was like, because there'll be no reason to live. My whole life right now is about my little girl. If she's not here, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Ooh, yeah, I did think about that. It's funny you asked the question. Yeah, I think I would just go in a corner and eat myself till I fall asleep forever.
So it's funny. This is something that I have been thinking a lot about. Because I've talked a lot about this on the podcast, but people that don't know, recently my girlfriend had 9 years cheated on me and just completely turned my entire life upside down, and it very much has been almost a struggle of grief. Almost, it's like my whole life was turned upside down, and any semblance of what my life used to look like is completely different. And I can say you very much resound yourself to just kind of like keep it going, like keep it pushing, like keep going forward. And I've talked to friends about this recently, that it's just like I find myself just very slowly and sadly like making dinner, taking care of the dogs, doing household chores. And again, not to compare a breakup to getting your whole family gunned out. I'm just saying, like, for anybody who's experienced grief, you can probably relate to a certain extent of just really not even knowing what to do with yourself, but just pushing forward anyways. It's like it gets very, very depressing sometimes. Again, not to compare my situation to somebody who's lost a loved one, but it's how I resign myself to just getting through my days of just like, this sucks, and we'll get there.
Brad, what do you think? What do you have to say? Anything to say add on to that?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you talking about losing your daughter, the idea. I think if something was to happen to my son and my wife, first thought would be revenge, and then after that, it would just be emptiness.
Emptiness. Yeah, the whole world will burn. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like, having watched somebody get shot, it's not something you forget.
Yeah.
It's not, there's nothing you can do to forget that.
Yeah.
And, having watched, what was it, 5 people or 4 people at least get shot in front of you, that definitely is something you're going to forget.
Yeah.
In the head too.
Yeah. And that's like, it's like I always tell people, the movies, they get it all wrong.
It's so wrong.
Yeah. It's like somebody just turns a light off and the person just drops.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that, falling backwards and all that fun stuff. It's not something that you forget.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I would wish on anybody to have to see. But to have to watch it, and like for me at least, there was that separation, not knowing the person, but watching people I don't know. Like I said, I think revenge, and then just
not even just say somebody but your closest family members. I mean, the parents of the twins were sitting right, and furthermore, the parents of the twins, they're losing their son in this too. Like, that's part of the story I feel like almost gets lost in this. On Thanksgiving dinner, not only is Thanksgiving ruined for the rest of their lives, like beyond that, but they lost all 3 of their kids in what basically amounts to be split seconds. They lost all 3 of their kids. Well, they Nelson?
I have nothing productive to add.
Okay.
It's just
it's
fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up, and it's really dark. Again, I it's part of the story that had to be told today, and we had to get through it. But we're all getting closer together here. I can feel us bonding. We're trauma bonding together. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Love it.
Well, the manhunt. Yeah, the manhunt for Paul would extend not just across the country, but around the world, as distant relatives of Paul's mother's side lived in Haiti, and police would issue this is an actual photo of the helicopter outside of the Sitton's house. Police would issue a $100,000 reward for details leading to the arrest of Paul Merhige for the 5 victims of the shooting on Thanksgiving Day, and he would even appear on a segment of America's Most Wanted. Investigators would come to learn that Paul had planned the massacre for weeks in the lead up to Thanksgiving and was very much arriving to the Sittons with the purpose of murder in his heart. He had spent nearly $2,000, for sure of his parents' money, by the way, on guns and ammunition just before the attack. And Paul had also withdrawn $12,000 in getaway money and packed clothes and food from his apartment just before leaving. It wouldn't be until December 2nd that Paul would be spotted checking into the Edgewater Lodge on Key West, Florida. And although checked in under a John Baca, Paul would go relatively unnoticed in the mostly desolate area of Key West, Florida, surrounding the weeks following Thanksgiving. When viewing commercials for Paul's segment America's Most Wanted, the owner of the Edgewater Motel would recognize his tenant as Paul Merhige and let authorities know that he was staying in room 14 of his hotel.
Wow.
The owners would quietly evacuate the motel, including their daughter, who was staying in the room next to Paul's, and call America's Most Wanted hotline, wherein, when asked how sure they were it was indeed Paul Merhige staying at the motel between 1 and 10, they immediately started screaming into the phone, 10, into the phone line, 10, it's him, it's definitely fucking him. We know it's him. Come fucking get him.
I'm screaming. No, that's what I would have done. I would quietly be like, "Oh, welcome. Have a seat. I'd be right back."
Oh, hey, she's a regular beef and night. Sadie says we're in a similar situation.
I guess my question
Sorry, I'm
is,
missing all the comments here. Sorry, go ahead.
when anytime that I've ever checked into a hotel or anything like that, they require an ID.
Right.
So how did he manage? How did he get around not presenting an ID to them?
Question. Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
because it's Florida. Good question. Maybe the laws there are different.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a motel.
Florida.
Wait, it's a motel. Wait, in a motel, in a motel you don't have to.
That's
No?
not true.
Oh, is it not true? Maybe
That's
the
not
laws
true.
are different over there in Florida.
I love that though. How did you get away with checking those ID? Cause Florida.
Florida.
Cause Florida.
I don't know, but you're right. Good point. They put you, and they need a credit card too.
Yeah.
I mean, if he did enough prep to take out $12,000, I mean, a fake ID ain't that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
How do you get 12 grand out of ATM? I thought that's impossible. I thought the maximum.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But go ahead.
That was the information that I got, and they very much they showed that. Actually, there's a video of it of him withdrawing money from the ATM. But I thought the same thing. You had to go into a bank to get that kind of cash.
Yeah, you have to go to a bank. I think the maximum.
Did he do it over a course of weeks or?
Yeah, maybe just like a little $500 with $1. I mean, I guess it wouldn't take that many depending on what your ATM limit is. I know this is also back in 2009, but nowadays it's like almost every debit card has a $500 limit on it. But
it's a $500 limit. Yeah, before someone is alerted. Oh, damn it. I love the fact they're like, oh, who is that? Oh, honey, come on, get out the room. Call the police. I can't. Yeah, good job, owners. Mm-hmm.
Unmarked police cruisers from Miami-Dade and the U.S. Marshal's Office would descend upon the motel, slowly and quietly swarming room 14, where at around 10 p.m., shattering the sliding glass door, stormed the hotel room, leaving Paul too stunned to do anything and was taken to custody without incident. I did note, however, that they tased him, and I just wanted to include that because, yes, they fucking at least tased the shit out of him. There's the picture there of him being arrested.
Look at him acting as if everything's normal on vacation.
Fat fucking slob. Hate this guy.
I mean,
but
sorry, go ahead.
Wow, they stormed them. Can you just try to imagine a little bit how it must have felt like, for him laying down? Oh, I just had a nice meal. I'm gonna take a nap, and just got stormed in, how uncomfortable. Okay, that's all. I'm just projecting myself in his shoes, ooh.
And America's Most Wanted camera crew was also on scene for the arrest, given they were the ones who took the arresting information. Let's take a look at that footage now, shall we?
Bring it on.
And even spoke with Paul shortly after.
10 years of utter torment.
What do you mean by that?
I've had chronic medical problems, mental problems. It's been a nightmare. I didn't even know what I was doing.
That was a short little clip. So yeah, as you just heard there, Paul would go into his defense there by claiming he had no memory of the events, basically, and that he was insane. It wasn't his fault, more or less. Inculpability by reason of insanity. And as we mentioned, we mentioned, his own uncle, Clifford Antoinette, who was grazed by a bullet from his nephew and the gun jammed twice in his face, who had also treated Paul clinically, testified under oath, as we said, that not only was most of the insanity crap BS, but he was faking it, he was leaning in, and he was completely unstable. Yeah, just basically that he was full of crap. And so combine that with all the investigatory research that investigators did, as we talked about, buying the guns, taking out the cash, the premeditation, basically. He would end up taking a plea deal for them taking the death penalty off the table, and would be sentenced to life in prison. He would be found competent and then would be spared the death penalty. Yeah.
It's very hard to claim insanity when you do something wrong. Even it's so difficult. You literally have to be.
Hold on. It's easy to claim insanity. It's difficult to actually prove insanity because you have to. Yeah.
That's what I meant. So hard.
It has to be proven that you weren't able to discern right from wrong. That's why very frequently in interrogations, when you see somebody where, for whatever reason, the investigators might be thinking that whoever they're interrogating might be going for the insanity defense. They'll frequently try to ask leading questions to get them to admit to some capacity they knew what they're doing is wrong. In fact, I've seen certain interrogations where they flat out say, "So what you knew what you're doing was wrong." And if you can get somebody to admit to that, obviously any claim to insanity, even if they could prove they're insane, if they knew what they're doing was wrong, doesn't matter.
But sometimes you don't even have to say yes or no. Like even like if you were to Google the night before just a sentence, it means you're aware, right? I say that because I've been in a room with people who really are insane and they don't know what right and wrong. And do you know how scary that is? Do you know how scary it is to be in a room with someone who has no idea what's right and wrong? I just want to teleport and float. And it had to be with guards, not with a weapon, but like scary because
there are videos out there on YouTube comparing like what actual insanity looks like in comparison to people who are feigning insanity. I mean, we even hear Judge Darrow say it in the Darrell Brooks case, right? That like when you see somebody who actually suffers from bipolar disorder, it's a very it's a very different picture from what you think it's supposed to look like. Like they very much like we heard about Paul, like they cannot function in a day-to-day environment. Like a lot of people who think that even getting the insanity plea is going to be better, very frequently the people who are in those like nut houses or sentenced to long stays in mental facilities, those facilities can very frequently be worse than prisons, and you're surrounded by people who can't control their bowels or don't want to. I mean, there's a lot of very, very horrific and disgusting things you'd see in those facilities that it looks very different from the Hollywood image of what insane looks like. Put it that way.
Well, it's because the unpredictability makes them dangerous, dangerous. So it's almost like it's like a hospital, but it's also a prison. Because they could be happy, and then literally the next second you need to be eliminated, but they don't see that. You know what I mean? Like they are unpredictable.
Yeah,
and
a danger to not just those around them, but themselves as well.
Yeah, I remember when we were entering, they were like, "Okay, look, here's what you expect. Do not engage. Just walk straight. Door number 6. Oh, got it. Oh boy." I was like, oh.
Well, that's more or less the end of our tale here. The Sittons, again, whose house held Thanksgiving and their daughter was killed by Paul, would file a civil lawsuit against Michael and Carol Merhige, claiming that they knew their son was unstable and yet invited him anyways. The Merhiges would end up countersuing them, just turning this into an absolute mess of a case. Like I said, if it was Paul's intention to break up this family, mission accomplished, because they would just eat each other in the following years. Just a very tragic tale. It takes one of the happiest of holidays, Thanksgiving. Like we said, we're all excited to celebrate it. And
nightmare.
Ruined it for 32 some odd people.
So now, thanks to you, now I have to go Thanksgiving looking at people weird. Because our Thanksgiving people fight. Not physically, almost, but people. It's like expected because people have such difference in opinion, and they thump, and they shout, and they yell, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like they shout and scream, and the kids are laughing in the back, making fun of things. And me and Chris, I'm drinking, and my mother-in-law we're just making fun of them. But my uncles and my uncle-in-law, oh my god,
I think anybody who's going to an extended family Thanksgiving meal that's been present for today's stream, like when that phone rings for a guest needing directions or whatever, their eyebrows are going to raise a little bit more this year. Like, wait, who's coming? Who's coming now? Who invited who now? What's that?
Yeah, now I'm gonna look at them weird, I it's no secret. I'm gonna tell. After this, I'll be like, "Yo, Christopher, we have to keep an extra look for certain people." Right, Nawson?
Mm-hmm.
It's totally checked out. Nawson's on Thanksgiving break already. He's done.
Look, I'll share with you. I'll share something with you that look. If you have a hunch about anything, don't take a chance. certain people don't approve of my lifestyle as if I care, but certain people in my family don't approve of my lifestyle as if I care. And so these people are not privy to be anywhere near my kid, because it takes one moment to change your life. So they're like, oh, how can I see your kid? No, you can't see my kid. What do you mean I can't see your kid? Because I don't trust you in any way, shape, or form. What do you think I'm going to do? Poison you? I'm like, maybe. Like, you know what I mean? So with that little hunch, you are barred. You can't even get 5 centimeters away from me. I'm like, no, you could just disappear and I will live peacefully. And so if you have a hunch, don't play with that. Disappear, because if someone makes you feel any sort of uncomfortable, don't play with that.
So Kat says that she's thankful she doesn't have to deal with any extended family on Thanksgiving. Yeah, I basically get like just my immediate family members. I like it, honestly, like having that nice close-knit dinner. That's the best. I've been to like those big, like huge Thanksgiving tables where it's like, you know, sister's roommate and cousin over there. It's just like, oh, it gets to be too much. It's like it's a lot of social pressure too.
Yeah, but
makes it so you don't look forward to it.
Yeah, but in the same breath, I do have to say that there is some entertainment in the craziness and the drama, because for Christmas Eve, we go to my friend's family dinner, and they are very well together. And it's like, hello, darling. Good like, it's a little bit like it's perfect, and the food is great, the decoration is great. Everybody, you know, we're drinking champagne, darling, and it's, you know, it's very put together. It's fun, but you know, it's kind of, there's some adrenaline knowing like, ooh, wow, what did he say? Like, you know what I mean? But Christmas Eve is tame. And you know,
Christine makes the quick getaway. Dinner at 5, dessert at 6, gone by 6:45. Yeah, the old hey, how are you? Gotta go by.
Christine is only there for 45 minutes.
Don't blame her.
Christine is out.
Thanks for the turkey. You guys are drinking. See ya.
I'm out. Oh my god. What are you gonna stay
Dang,
for?
dude. Bubba just got a bottle of wild turkey, his cat, and an Xbox. That's a rough Thanksgiving.
No, that's like a dream. What are you talking about? Oh my god.
You introverts, I'll never understand it. I don't
I
get
love
it.
staying home. What are we doing today? Nothing? Yay! Where are we going today? Nowhere. Yay! What's the plan for the weekend? I don't know. Perfect. What? That's the best Thanksgiving. What are we doing? Nothing. Ordering food.
I feel like people who are introverted are people that are like, they have people in their lives all the time. Like, I have introvertedness thrust upon me and I can't stand it. But I feel like if I had people around me all the time, I'd be like, man, I wish I could just be alone every now and again. And I probably would be a fucking introvert. Like, dude, I love being alone. It's the best.
You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something there. Yeah, human beings are a lot.
Homebodies for the win. Yeah, honestly, as much as I am extroverted, like I could sit here and chim-chaw with you guys all night, but I like being home alone at the same time. Like people coming into my space, I'm all set.
I love being home. Yeah, I prefer hosting than driving to you. Come over here.
Brad, so you're gonna do Thanksgiving dinner number 2. What's your second Thanksgiving gonna look like?
Same as the first one. We don't do turkey because turkeys are just too expensive up here. I think it was like $70 for turkey. Yeah.
How many pounds? 20?
I don't even think it was that big. It was one of the smaller ones. Food up here, Canada,
that is true.
It's screwing up royally.
Yeah, food is expensive.
But yeah, so we bought a chicken, which is, you know, perfect because just the two of us.
Are you gonna stuff the chicken?
So we usually shove an orange up there.
Just for fun.
Yeah, you know, just for shits and giggles.
Just gotta have it, you know.
Yeah, you take and you cut an orange in half, and then you just shove both halves up there. If
Thank you for the description.
Oh, you're very welcome. If you're feeling really adventurous, frisky, you can cut the orange up into slices and then put it underneath the skin, between the meat and the skin. And then
you get skin orange.
Is the new meaning to the term orange chicken?
Then you just slather it in butter. Oh man. Yeah, we it's just gonna be us. She took Thursday and Friday off.
Nice.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the thing. Like the fact Canada does it on a Monday.
You just take that orange, you just stuff the shit out of it.
Okay.
Like a little bit here, and boom, that just spices it up a bit.
Well, you know, when you stuff it, you got to tie the legs up.
Take
you
my
know?
good
So
hand.
You got to tie the legs up.
Yeah. So you're getting in a little bit of bondage when you eat.
Yeah. Ooh.
We are covering all the bases here. There's fruits going into orifices. We're getting tied up. I love
And
it.
bondaged.
We're having homo hugs. Nawson's cooking
temperature.
something in the microwave in the background. There's all kinds of fun stuff going on.
Oh, that's not me. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it is. Me.
Nawson, while you make your microwave popcorn, tell us what's your Thanksgiving dinner going to look like.
Well, I predict that it will, and I'm not making it, but it will consist of the things that I listed on my tier list.
Nice.
Probably not the green bean casserole, to my dismay.
But that's your favorite, though.
Yeah.
Might be a reason to bring a gun.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. He is the right wing uncle of his table.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, maybe Nawson's the Paul Merhige.
All right, you fuckers that fixed the election. Where's my damn green bean casserole?
Oh my God! Everybody run! Look! I told you.
QAnon ate the goddamn green beans.
QAnon. Look, you know I have a strategy, right? If you corner me in a room, I say yes. Oh yes, master. Yes. Until I escape. No. So I'd be like, oh, you're right, Nawson. How dare them? Oh my God. Yeah, them. And then the moment you blink, I'm out. Oh my God. Yeah, that's exactly how the Thanksgiving is gonna go, Nawson. We have 3 of those. And they cannot wait to come and tell us how it is while we're sitting here enjoying the show. Do you know what I'm talking about, right? You guys are not lost, are you?
You got 3 family members coming over that
that
ruin everything.
Greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it. I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it.
Sorry.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb.
No, we dance. Look, listen, dancing is part of this soul. When we go out, anywhere we put, I wiggle, I shimmy, I do cartwheels, I shake my butt, I shake my boobies.
Why do you shake your butt all the way to our final pod, Mr. Host?
Cartwheels.
The final thought.
Now somebody's like cartwheels. Okay, maybe not cartwheels, literally, but it's the first thing I do when I come because everybody's so tied up. I'm like, okay, look.
Yeah, I was going to say that came out wrong, buddy.
No, I don't do cartwheels literally, but no, it's funny because here's the thing: people get so uptight sometimes, and I'm like, look, at the end of the day, we're all a family, so you can have a disagreement, and what are you gonna do? Hurt me? But after today, right? But I mean, that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, you can have your opinion, but don't forget. Like, we're a team, so wiggle and shimmer and smile and say, thank you, I love you, even though like you're annoying and stuff, But no, it's the first thing I do.
Man, I gotta throw this out there: a Cajun stuffed chicken with rice and crawfish. Ooh, boy, that Southern comfort food, Bubba, preach. All right, Alistair, take us home here. What's our final thought? It's Thanksgiving. Let's make it a good one.
I'll give you a good one. Don't forget. Yes, you only have one family, in quotes, but don't forget that also the family is one that you can also create. It's not one that you're stuck with, and it's not one that you deserve, so to speak. So as you collect your members, as you collect your tribe, and we all are different, don't forget, say thank you, appreciate them. You're not where you are without them, and hug them a little tighter, right? Don't fight too hard. Don't fight too hard, because when the end of the world arrives, if you know what I mean, when civil war arrives, if you know what I mean, you only have one place to hide. Is just with your family members, and you can't fight with everybody now. Okay, so you gotta go somewhere, right? So don't forget to hug them tighter and say, you know what? I know they stole it, wink, but you love me and I love you, wink. So shut up and let's get together, right? Right, Nawson?
Yes, that's an easy,
Yeah.
easy final thought. Just love your family. Who cares?
Happy Thanksgiving! Oh my God!
Homo hugs for all.
Homo hugs.
Brad, what's your final thought for our viewers?
On Thanksgiving or just in general?
Just in general. Just take us
In
home,
general.
buddy.
I am starving.
Yeah, same.
That's right. He hasn't eaten.
He's sick in oranges and all kinds of places over there. He's so hungry.
Oh man, I could go for a
He's like,
stuffed
I don't
chicken
care.
right
Just
now.
put the food in me.
Oh man, I think that we're doing pizza for dinner tonight. So yeah,
Yes. Bread and cheese. Mm-hmm.
Now, son, final thought. Hit us with it.
At your local Thanksgiving, make sure you have a quick escape plan in case someone shoots the place up.
Yep.
Like have an escape route planned out.
Well, always drive your own car. No, this is actually a good final thought. Always drive your own car to family affairs. You never want to be tied to someone else's escape plan, because if something goes wrong, and beyond just like a shooting, like say a fight breaks out between family members or somebody says something awkward, you just need to leave. Just make sure you have your own means to get home, everyone. And if you drink, fucking Uber, you piece of shits.
That's right.
Don't drive drunk.
Don't drive drunk. No, please don't. And one last point before we go. And because I'm nosy. Katie did it too. Katie did it too. I heard you. I see you. We good. Mm-hmm. That's it.
All right, make sure everybody do me a favor. Everyone stop right now and click over to Brad's Labs channel and hit the subscribe button with notifications on. And then as soon as you've done that, do the same for Nawson's channel. We will put those links in the description. And we hope all of you have just an absolutely wonderful, blessed Turkey Day. Hold your family members tight. Alistair, can you do me a favor and can you take us home, good sir?
Yes, Boba, I agree with you 100%. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Every time I say this, and I say it all the time, it's that without you guys, we're not here. Without your viewership, we're not here. So press like, of course, subscribe if you haven't done so, and we'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving. Christine, I'm waiting. Happy Thanksgiving.
End transmission.
Thank you for watching.